Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hey friend. So today we're going to get into this full coverage natural glam, and I am so excited because this came out really pretty. And by the time you get to the end of this video, just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think, and thank you for tuning in. Alright, so we're starting off with a fresh face. I'm using paper napkin with some Thayer's Witch Hazel on it, which is a toner you can order online or pick it up at your local Ulta store for about $5 to $7. Now I'm using the Clinique moisturizing gel to put that moisture back into the skin. And of course, I like to use Milk of Magnesia as my primer. Yes, it is 2020 and I'm still using it, so what? Eyebrows, my favorite part. Eyebrows, I'm using the ABH Pomade in Ebony. And of course, I'm lining her bottom and the top of her brow, just enhancing it, also following the natural shape of her eyebrows. And then we're gonna fill it in. And of course, when you get to the beginning part of her brow, this is how I like my brows to look. I like it to look like that fading gradient look. And I actually met a client who did not like it at all, and she wanted me to literally put rectangles on her face, and it was just so frustrating, but I did it, and it was really weird, you know. But that just goes to show that different folks, different strokes. Now I am using the Juvias Place Matte Foundation in Tanzania to actually clean up her brows. I'm not using a concealer, and this is because the look is very natural, and typically concealers, especially under eye, typically brightens the eye, and I don't want that at all. I just wanted it to be everything to just be the same shade and same consistency and everything. So that is the reason for using foundation as concealer on today's client. Okay, so going back into the brows, just making sure the shape is like on point and just, you know, filling in a few missing spots or whatnot. Now it is time to buff it out. Blend everything in. Make sure it's nice and dry and smooth. You want to do this under the eye and above the brows as well. Now it's time for our eyeshadow. So I am setting the eyes using one of my palettes. This is my contour palette. I use the Black Radiance medium to dark palette, and I'm using the contour color to actually put on to her eyes as eyeshadow. So I'm going back and forth into the palette. I went back about 3 or 4 times, and you want to bring it up, the eyeshadow, bring it up towards the brow a little bit, and the inner corner of the bridge, side bridge of the nose. Now I'm using that same shade that I used on the eyebrows as concealer, that Tanzania. And one thing about this foundation, Juvia's Place foundation, is everything. I just love it. It's thick, so it gives me that full coverage without using so much product. So I'm using one of my favorite beauty blenders by Morphe, and it is damp with water. Always be sure to squeeze the water out as much as possible. Now I'm using Juvia's Place concealer in the shade 12. I absolutely love this concealer as an under eye concealer and highlighting concealer, but I don't like to put it on my eyelid under the eyeshadow. The product is super oily that putting eyeshadow on top of it just doesn't look right. It looks mucky, sticky, and just wet, and it is a mess. So I definitely like it as a highlighting tool instead of a base for our eyeshadow. So when you're blending out the concealer, you want to blend it up instead of straight out. So blend it up, creating that angle you see around her eyes. Now I'm just using this brush to kind of just buff out the areas I wasn't really able to get to using my blender. Also keep in mind, when it comes to concealer, you always want to let that under eye area dry before you actually buff it out or blend it out. Setting powder, of course, using one of my favorite products, which is by Huda Beauty. This is in the shade Kunafa, whatever. But I just love how it's literally a faux filter. It looks like a filter under her eye. It's amazing. It sits beautifully on the skin in every single shade. So you definitely want to push it into the skin and then put some more product on top of it to let it bake. So using the other side of the beauty blender with the straight part, I am stamping in a diagonal angle because I don't want to make it straight. I want to move it upwards because it kind of helps lift the eyes and it makes so much more of a difference. And I definitely like to add extra powder on the sides of the nose because it'll definitely help change the physical appearance of the nose, especially after contouring. And you guys will definitely see that. And of course, we always want to make sure we set and bake the nose, the center of the nose. And I definitely like to make sure I bake the eyebrows. So you will definitely see some product sitting on the eyebrows, and that was definitely intentional. I know I've said this already. I have so many favorite parts. This is my favorite part, nose contouring. I'm using that same shade from the Black Radiance contour palette and to contour her nose, and I'm bringing it into her brows, the beginning part of her brows. That is very important. And because it's the same shade on her eyelids, I am blending that down into the beginning part of the eyelids as well. Like, this is my favorite part. So I like to use a clean brush. This is one of the Morphe brushes, and just, you know, blend, shade it in. Shade it in. Going back in with some more setting powder, yes, to push that into the side of her nose, to help change the physical appearance of the nose. It helps the nose look really slim in the contour, and the highlight of the setting powder helps with that. So now contouring, as you can see, I'm doing the cheekbones, and then I'm going to bring that all the way across her hairline. So definitely see the difference. So we definitely have to blend that in. And I hate to do it to the baby hairs, but I have to make sure she is blended. Alright, falsies. I normally don't use my hands to put them on, but I couldn't find my tweezers. So it's a lot easier to use your tweezers. Also, keep in mind that you always have to make your lashes actually look like your lashes. You don't want the discorrelation between your actual lashes and the falsies. So using mascara is a great tool to make them look like, or just make them blend. you know. So her under eye area, I did go back in and add some more concealer and let it dry and then blend it back out because it was cracking and I hate how that looks. So blend out and then add some more powder and you'll be good to go. So from this point on, you'll see me using this big fluffy brush to kind of just blend everything in. I want to make sure the contour is blending into the highlight seamlessly and you just don't have any harsh lines between, you know, contour and highlight and things like that. Alright, so I'm using some black liner and my brush to tight line her waterline. And I want to make sure the liner is directly on her waterline because I don't want it to be super thick. We're going for a, you know, natural light look. So be very careful. You want to take it all the way across. And then I'm going to go into some black eyeshadow using a different brush and tapping that eyeshadow onto the black liner on both sides. Being absolutely careful. You're gonna have fallout. You can always clean your fallout with some setting powder. And now I am going to use a different brush to blend out the liner. And I'm actually using the same eyeshadow color on this brush to blend out that black, still keeping it really thin. Now carefully using a napkin and some mascara to bring out her bottom lashes, to make them pop, to make the eyes really, really pop. Adding some color back to the face, one of my other favorite parts. Now I'm using the ABH Blush Trio in Berry Adore. Now I'm not using a specific color. I literally just take my brush and swatch it all over the mini palette and use that. Using the Morphe highlighting palette, using the color Blaze, which is that deep golden color on the bottom right, and just above the blush in the center of the forehead and the chin. And then I am definitely going to use a slender little brush to highlight the bridge of the nose and then the tip of the nose, and blend using my fluffy brush. And of course, we can't forget to set the bottom jaw of her face. You know, we definitely have to make sure that is set and that it's baking as well. I like to do this last because this is definitely something I don't like to leave on the face for a very long time, being that this is one of the dry areas of our face. So as soon as I put it on, I take it back off. So this natural look calls for a nude lip, so I'm using the NYX Brown Lip Liner. So I'm going in with ABH on Mute Liquid Lipstick using my lip brush. And then I am gonna go into Oh Peachy. Not Oh Peachy, it's just called Peachy, which is also from ABH. So So I noticed that the other brown liner was a bit too light, so I'm now using the NYX dark brown liner to go back and line her lips. Now this is some clear lip gloss that I got from the beauty supply store, and I'm just going to pop that onto her lips and blend everything out until I am completely satisfied with how those lips look. Now setting her face using the Mario Badescu facial spray, and then pushing that into her skin using that fluffy brush, and she is pretty much done.